Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into the absolute core of personal finance, accelerate compounding. We are going to walk through 6 seriously smart ways to grow your wealth using mutual funds. And honestly, the best part is that we're going to break down how to maximize your returns without making blind, speculative bets. You definitely don't need to gamble to build serious capital. You just need the right framework, and we are going to lay the whole shebang out for you right now.
Okay, let's dive right into this. It's the central burning question literally every retail investor has. How do you actually grow your money faster? Because look, we all know the magic of compounding, right? We hear it all the time. But when you're looking at your own portfolio month after month, the natural instinct is to want to speed things up. We all want to hit those financial milestones yesterday.
Well, to answer that, we first have to bust a massive myth. The myth is that compounding is about speed. A lot of times, the industry tries to sell us this idea of a shortcut, a get-rich-quick trick that'll instantly multiply our cash. But the reality? Compounding is fundamentally about consistency plus time. There's no magical shortcut here. Real, sustainable wealth relies on this absolute mathematical reality. It is a lifelong marathon, not an overnight sprint.
To help ground the data we're about to look at, I want you to keep this secret analogy in mind. Think of compounding exactly like planting a tree. Early start equals a big tree. Delay equals a smaller tree. Your mutual fund portfolio is basically your growing orchard. If you plant the seedling early, it gets the seasons it needs to grow massive roots. If you wait, well, you're just going to have a smaller tree when you finally want to sit in its shade. Keep that image in your head.
That brings us to strategy 1, start early, because time is your biggest multiplier. Seriously, time is doing the heavy lifting here. The money you put in matters, for sure, but the actual time that cash spends marinating in the market is what creates wealth. You simply can't buy back time. Getting that money working for you as early as humanly possible is the ultimate cheat code in investing.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. Let's look at a standard SIP, a systematic investment plan of 5,000 rupees a month. After 15 years, it grows to a solid 30 lakhs. Not bad, right? But if you give it 25 years, just 10 extra years of investing, that exact same 5,000 rupees a month explodes to roughly 70 lakhs. It more than doubles. That is the pure, unfiltered power of letting time do the work.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Well, I've already started. I can't go back in time. What do I do now? That leads us to strategy 2. Increase your SIP regularly. Enter the 10% annual step-up. As your income grows, your investments absolutely should too. If you start with a 10,000 rupee SIP, you simply bump it up by 10% every single year. Most platforms let you completely automate this now, so it just feels like a tiny, manageable adjustment that happens in the background.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the payoff. By just stepping up your SIP by 10% annually, your final portfolio value can increase by an absolutely staggering 40 to 70%. I mean, think about that. You aren't doing anything radical. You aren't taking on wild risks. You're just incrementally increasing your commitment, and the compounding engine rewards you with a massively higher final value. It's incredible.
Okay, so we've talked offense. Let's shift to defense with strategy 3. Stay invested. Do not interrupt the compounding process. This is where the psychology of money really kicks in. It is so easy to be an optimistic investor when the market is booming. But when your mutual fund drops during a correction, that's when patience becomes absolutely critical.
Because compounding fundamentally breaks when you do these things. Exit early, panic sell, or stop your SIP.
Remember our tree analogy? Doing any of these during a market dip is literally like chopping down your growing tree just because it's going through a tough winter. Market corrections are totally normal. You have to let your portfolio weather the storm so it can grow when the sun comes back out.
Now, let's talk about the environment your wealth grows in. Strategy 4 is choose the right asset mix. If your money is the seed, the asset mix is the soil you're planting it in. If you pick the wrong mix for your timeline, you are going to drastically slow down your compounding potential and cause yourself a lot of unnecessary stress.
Let's quickly break this down. First, equity. This is your growth engine. Higher compounding potential, but with short-term bumps. Second, debt. This is your stability. It acts as a cushion when equities are jumping around. And finally, hybrid, which gives you an automated balance of both. Understanding these roles helps you craft a mix that actually matches your risk appetite.
Moving right along to strategy 5, reinvest your returns. Let money grow on money. Guys, this is non-negotiable. When your funds make a profit, it is so tempting to withdraw that cash and spend it. But the secret sauce here is letting it ride. My strongest advice: always pick the growth option for your mutual funds. It automates the reinvestment, so the compounding engine just keeps humming along without you having to lift a finger.
Let's move to strategy 6 and see how this all builds together. Avoid big mistakes. We've talked a lot about what to do, but knowing what not to do is just as crucial. These are the hidden compounding killers, high-friction errors that so many investors completely overlook, ultimately sabotaging their own wealth.
So avoid these mistakes. Frequent switching. Every time you jump funds, you're hit with exit loads and taxes. Stop chasing returns. Last year's winner isn't guaranteed to be this year's. Timing the market? Basically impossible to do consistently, so don't even try. And finally, high-cost investments. High expense ratios will quietly eat away at your net returns year after year.
Look at the visual difference here. A regular automated SIP gives you this beautifully smooth upward curve. That is the serene journey of an investor who just lets the math work. Contrast that with stop-start investing. It's chaotic, broken growth. When you interrupt your investments, panic sell, and try to jump back in, you completely fracture your compounding curve.
Which brings us to the real insight of this entire explainer. Compounding is simple, but it is absolutely not easy. The math, unquestionably straightforward, but executing it year after year, holding steady through the euphoric highs and the terrifying lows, that requires real mental fortitude. It demands absolute discipline and profound patience.
So the crucial point is this quote right here. Compounding grows fast only when you don't disturb it. Everything we've discussed today, starting early, stepping up automatically, picking the right soil, avoiding fees, it all brings us back to this. Consistency will always beat speed. Always. So I want to leave you with this question. Are you ready to let your money work for you, undisturbed? Take a hard look at your habits today. Build a system that protects you from your own impulses. Get out of your own way, and just let time work its absolute magic.
This conversation is for educational purposes only. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Please consult a qualified professional before investing.